Welcome back to the Warhammer Book Club.
Warhammer Book Club.
Warhammer Book Club.
We're making a rap group.
Yeah, it's called Glock and a Half.
Found this on Twitter.
Dude. Look at this.
Comparing butts on their butts.
I like yours way better.
Yeah, that's... Oh, it jiggles!
Yeah, dude.
Well, mine would look pretty cool if it...
I thought you were just shaking it to
download-
make my eyes
the full
blur.
picture.
That's pretty amazing. Download the app and Wobble, and you can make it do that.
I can make that picture that I have do that.
Yeah.
You just like
Don't mind
select an area of the picture that wobbles.
Yeah, you just put like a bubble around it and choose how much, and then it just,
And wobble?
Yeah.
Is it only wobble when you shake it, or can you like touch it? And
You can touch it and wobble.
You can touch it.
It's legit. Like, this is the future, boys.
Holy dinkums.
But yeah, so welcome to the Warhammer podcast.
It's been a little bit for us.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because I couldn't last week.
Yeah.
So technically it's been...
We had some stuff going on.
So I guess technically it still kind of pertains around what I've been reading, eh?
I haven't made any progress, really.
I've made a lot of progress.
Yes, I know you're already reading Nemesis.
Yeah, I finished 3 books.
I don't have as much time to read as you do.
I have a lot of time to read because I just work and I read there.
Well, yeah, I don't have that luxury, unfortunately. I gotta watch children all the time, so...
Make them read.
You know,
They read to you.
Honestly, that's an amazing punishment, believe it or not.
So let's start with the whole getting the book story.
Yes.
Okay, so, I got a bone to pick with Clean Books or whatever the fuck I ordered from. I don't know what it's called. So I ordered Galaxy and Flames off Amazon on December 26th, 2018.
It's been over a month.
As of January 26th, 2019, a full month, I still didn't have my book. So, I emailed these people, and I'm like, I'm done with your shit, give me my money back, and I want the fucking book now. And the dude was like, can you send me the order number for it, because I don't know what your order number is. I was like, oh right, here's the order number now, I want my fucking money back, and so on and so forth.
I love the idea that this guy just gets an angry email. I want my book! And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
I need context.
And then I was like, motherfucker! And I sent him the thing, and anyway. So then, like, literally, 3 days later,
The book shows up.
I get a text message from my brother, who's 12. And he's like, by the way, your book came in. I was like, what? And
So clearly they hadn't sent it.
oh no, it was there. It was just in the mail. My parents were on vacation in Jamaica, and I didn't check the mailbox. It's probably been sitting there for like 2 weeks.
So, not only that, but you have finished reading the book.
I finished reading the book on an inferior way to read the book, with words that didn't make sense sometimes, and I just read past it. I was like, I don't care what it is, I'm reading.
Moving on.
Fuck it.
Yeah, so you finished...
So I finished Galaxy and Flames. So far, favorite book. Specifically the ending. The middle parts are kind of boring, but...
Yep.
I found False Gods middle part actually a little bit more intriguing than I did this book, surprisingly. Alright. Where did I get to in this book?
I have no idea. It's been 2 weeks.
I think I got...
Weren't you just done False Gods?
No,
we talked...
He talked about the first half of Galaxy and Flames.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm not sure
So
exactly
go to the second half.
I'm not sure exactly what I talked about. I think I talked about how Loken and Torgon, I think where I left off was Loken and Torgon were getting ready to go to Isfahan 3.
That sounds
right.
familiar.
Okay.
For the second time?
First time. The only time. They only go once.
I thought there was a group that dropped in, and then they all come back, and then they drop in again.
It kind of sounds like Angron does that, actually. But I don't...
So what Miles talking about is whenever they're like... They were told they weren't going with their normal squads, and like, well, that's weird. It's like, well, we could buddy up, and they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
We're all
Nero
gonna hop.
Vipus comes along and says...
This is the second group, but they don't go twice.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Vipus is like, yo, y'all can party with me. Loken's like, brother! And they do the arm embrace thing, and then they go down together. So they get to Isfahan 3. It's a massacre. These people clearly have no idea what's coming, and they just slaughter fuck them. Like, it's ridiculous. It's
a one-sided shit stomp.
Yeah, like, I mean, the Astartes are losing soldiers here and there because they're using some weapons that are able to pierce the armor and stuff. So
Some sci-fi bullshit.
yeah, whatever.
The Astartes are strong.
Or
Yeah,
very
they're
strong.
they're big.
Pretty strong. Actually, I think there's a part where it says Vadon's like running through the battlefield in a hail of gunfire, and he's just healing a dude. I was like, man, this dude's a badass.
Yeah.
Because it didn't. Again, remember how I said to you, it didn't really dawn on me that Eidolon was actually an Astartes. Like, it really doesn't ever.
He
talk
sounded like
about...
a sniveling little prick to me.
Yeah, he kind of sounded like he was just a human, but he was somehow in control of Astartes, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Not a power metal god of thunder.
Yeah.
Because the Astartes look down on humans, and why the fuck would they take orders from a human?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that just didn't make any sense to me. And then it described it when they were killing the War Singer. It was like, no, Eidolon is a badass. Like, he's a bitch, but
Like,
this dude's a motherfucker.
Like, on a scale of 1 to big, he's pretty big.
He's pretty big. He carries this giant glowing hammer, and it slaughters
And he yells
things.
real good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he screams loud echoes.
Yeah, what was the sequel to Mjolnir? Stormbringer?
Stormbreaker.
Stormbreaker, that's what he has.
It is a king's weapon. Anyway, they're on the planet and stuff, and Saul Tarvitz is on the ship, not the Vengeful Spirit, whatever the...
Fulgrim's ship. Or not, I guess Fulgrim's not there, right?
Fulgrim's not there, it's Eidolon who's in
Yeah,
control.
it's Eidolon's ship.
And
Yes.
and all the commanders and stuff are still on their ships. Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah, so-
haven't entered the fight.
So he notices this.
Yes.
He's
and-
like, it's weird that Eidolon wouldn't want to be, like, first in the fray. Like, that's his whole jam.
Like, yeah, like he needs to continue to show Fulgrim how great he is, even though Fulgrim doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like, he's sucking up to Fulgrim, and so Saul Tarvitz is walking through. I can't remember what the ship is called. Actually, I'll find it.
The
while I'm
bloody
talking.
butt cheek.
Bloody butt cheek.
So he's walking through the ship, and
He's going down to the lower levels.
he's
like,
going down to the
something's
lower
up there.
levels, and I think he peers outside, and he realizes that they're in low orbit now. And he says the only time that the ships are ever in low orbit and in the formation that they're in
It's for, like, a bombing.
is for an orbital bombardment. And he was like, that's weird. Why would this be happening?
Now, is this before or after he requested to change positions?
I guess technically this is after.
Yeah.
He was supposed to drop.
Yeah, so he immediately was... I guess we didn't talk about he was invited into the gene therapy party and he denied it.
Yes, Eidolon was like, "Come, Saul."
Yes, he was like, you want to see why I can scream so great? Here, follow me.
Pulled his pants down, and Saul's like, "No."
There's no penis!
That's how I yell.
I don't...
Oh my god.
I don't know if Astartes have penises or not.
I think they do.
Sorry, they just like...
They have to, because there's a scene in Fulgrim where they need penises. Yeah, it's a sex thing.
Oh, weird. Alright. Well, so anyway, Eidolon
brings
Eidolon's like,
down-
come with me,
Brother.
my son. I think he calls him son, actually.
Let me
And-
see if I can convince you, because I
Yeah.
might need to kill you.
Yeah. So it was a test for Saul Tarvitz, right? It was like, are you going to accept this, become a badass, and just accept the fact that we're motherfuckers and we're going to kill everybody?
Yeah.
Tarvis is
Or
like,
not, and
whoa, this goes
Tarvitz
against what
has
the
an
Emperor
epiphany,
wants.
and he's like, like, what you're doing here is wrong.
The Emperor wouldn't like this, therefore
Yeah,
it's
like-
wrong.
Yeah, like he made us this way for a reason. We're not supposed to mess with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're up to. Like the apothecary Fabius
Yeah.
was all like
Fabius Bile.
he was combining like Xenos attributes with Astartes.
Yeah.
Is effectively what he was doing.
He's making them stronger, which I mean technically is how the Astartes are even made. It's
Sure,
still through
but they were
manipulation.
They were made a certain way though.
Yes.
On
Yes.
purpose.
But so Fulgrim's a bad dude for making Fabius.
Well, it was Fabius's idea.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's not.
I guess you don't know that for Galaxy in Flames,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
it's Fabius's whole show.
Oh.
But Fulgrim is in on it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, wait, Fulgrim
Yeah,
doesn't
Fabius
care.
convinced Fulgrim to go through with it.
Okay, cool. So then Saul Tarvitz is like, no, I'm not doing that. Like,
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
That's
And then
dirty.
And then he like
Xenos.
basically runs away, and I guess later on he's noticing they're in low orbit, and he asks the servitor, and he's like, "What's going on?" And they're like, we're preparing for orbital bombardment."
It's
Why
like
did
the
you not know?
fuck we are.
Because the servitors are all just like, They got no barriers, no barriers. It's like, what are we doing? We're gonna blow them up. Smiling.
Are we not doing a good job getting ready to blow them up, sir? But I guess before that, though, like the reason Saul Tarvitz is there is because he noticed that the commanders weren't going to be there, and he got a little iffy about it, and then he went to ancient Ralenor, is that his name?
Ralenor, I guess?
The big juggernaut.
Is it Ralenor or Ralenor? Because it's R-A-Y.
Yeah, I read Ralenor.
Ralenor?
I think it's they pronounce
I think it's
Ralenor. I think it's
reading it.
Ralenor.
Whatever, okay.
But he's a guy in one of the dreadnought armors, and I guess the reason he's in that is because his body is pretty much destroyed to the point that he can't exist anywhere else. So they entombed him in this big old vessel so that he can continue to.
That happens to a lot of like princeps and stuff. Like their body just decays over time every time it connects and disconnects from a titan or a knight or anything.
Yeah, it takes a toll.
Eventually, it just decays. So they either have to be in it at all times or they die.
But then, like, he holds like this high-ranking position, which I didn't realize
because he was he served for so long that he couldn't anymore, and then it's like, he's a super badass. He went through with everything and survived being melded with machines. So
but he seems to be on like Eidolon's level almost.
Well, he's been around so long.
Yeah, and Tarvitz is like, I'm requesting to not be a part of this mission because I'd like to take care of everything up here instead.
Yeah, was Ralenor part of the Emperor's children?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tarvitz, he quote unquote volunteers to be part of like strategic coordinator or something like that, like kind of eyes in the sky, like directing
Google maps. Don't worry.
Because he's like, I understand, buddy who was gonna do it, he died in the previous battle, and I'd like to honor his memory by taking his place or whatever. Yeah. When clearly it's like, no, just don't send me down there. I know shit's gonna go weird.
And it's like weird for an Astartes to not want to go into battle. So Ralenor was like, oh, if you want to, like, sure. Like, we got you on the front lines.
You're gonna give up your honor. Okay.
Yeah, like if you want to, sure.
Then Ralenor apparently can detect when people are lying, very easily. Like he's just straight up like, I can tell you're fucking lying. And even though Saul Tarvitz is lying, he says it like as gracefully as possible to be like,
in a way that it's just
I
playing...
need to honor this dude by doing this.
Well, Ralenor probably suspected Tarvitz's real reasons, but
when you find out what Ralenor's like real train of thought is, like once he's down in the shit and everything, it's he's just a good guy.
Do you actually see another side? Is that coming up in a different book?
Was that on Galaxy?
No, in Galaxy of Flames though, like he's
very for the Emperor, and when he sees Saul Tarvitz has a train of thought, he's like, I'll let Saul do what he's doing.
Okay.
Like, I trust this new guy.
I guess that's not the way I interpreted it. But whatever.
So then, back to what we were describing. He notices the orbit change.
Yeah, and he says, yo, servitor bitch, what's going on? And he goes, no, we're bombing the planet! And it's like...
And not only, like, bombs, but
it's like a virus bomb.
The Life Eater virus, which is the most powerful weapon in the...
Kind of a last resort for him.
It's like a biological super nuke. It just eats everything on the planet.
But, like, if this weapon is at their disposal, why the fuck didn't they just shoot it at murder? I don't get it. If it were that bad,
because it kills everything, not just
I know that. But pull your troops out and bomb the planet.
No, but then there's no plant life. There's no anything left over.
This
and also it's a matter of like glory in a way too, where it's just like they take great pride in combat.
It's cool with us being on the planet. Plus, I don't know how much of this like virus is accessible, like how much of it they can use before they're just out of it, like where they get it from. Right. Plus, harvesting resources from the planets.
True. Yeah, no, I get that, but they sounded like they were having such a bitch of a time with.
I think they were having a bitch of a time because the first two groups that went in just underestimated it, and then when they were no longer underestimated, they're like, we got this.
Yeah, they kind of steamrolled once they paired up and got it all going.
Yeah. Also, on a complete side note, I've been meaning to ask this: does Sanguinius actually have wings, or is the picture in Fear to Tread a lie?
In Fear to Tread, that makes sense.
He has wings by that point.
In a way. Yeah. There's a part where it talks about, like in Thousand Suns,
he drank some Red Bull.
There's a part where it talks about Magnus having wings in Thousand Suns, and it's like, okay, so those are like ethereal wings. Like he's using magic for those. And I on the cover, it might just be that because Sanguinius is like the angel.
Yes, I know he's angelic.
It might just be the art. It might not actually be wings.
No, because I looked at it.
I thought it made sense in the scene, though. I'm still so far away from that, though.
Yeah, like I looked at it, I put it down, and I was like, oh, wait. So I was like, so that must be Sanguinius then. It has to be, because he's considered the... Okay, anyway, sorry. So I thought... So Saul Tarvet's, he's
like Life Eater. What?
That's like what the fuck? That's gonna kill.
Like
all
our guys
Sherry.
are winning. Why would we want to send a? Oh shit!
Yeah,
because he immediately processes it right, where it's just like, okay, if we're sending this, it's obviously not just our ship because you can't get authorization to shoot the Life Eater without authorization from the War Master.
Yeah.
So he's in on this. He's trying to get rid of people he doesn't
trust it.
Yeah.
So then Saul Tarvitz quickly rushes to the embarkation deck,
steals a Thunderhawk,
gets a bird and starts flying. And I think it's Eidolon, is it not?
That notices, or he gets a report, and it's like, hey, it says undocumented Thunderhawk launch, and it's like, whose authorization go Tarvitz? Like, Tarvitz! He's supposed to be down there! Like,
yeah. And then he's like,
down there soon enough.
And then he's like, deploy some fighters to blow him out of the sky. And while he's being chased, he comes into the radius
range
of the Eisenstein,
which a Death Guard ship.
Death Guard ship with your boy Nathaniel Garrow as the captain, and Garrow and Tarvitz are best buds.
Yeah.
So it's like he comes into radius of the ship and gets like a hail. It's like, unidentified vessel. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And it's like, Garrow, is that you? It's Tarvitz! They've betrayed us! They're gonna fuck us over! And it's like, hold up now! What's going on? And then, like, Garrow's getting orders from Eidolon to shoot down Tarvitz.
Yeah.
The ships are closing in on him. And
Tarvitz doesn't know how to fly, it says. Like,
he's not meant to fly.
He's not trained on
that.
Yeah, like
he's making it up as he goes. It's like a bike. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
So then it brings it to a scene where it seems like Tarvitz is going to get shot out of the sky, like the Thunderhawk is flying out of control. He can't control it anymore. They're getting closer or something.
And then the Eisenstein shoots.
And then he's like,
and all goes
he
black.
closes his eyes and he expects to be dead, and then he opens his eyes. He's still flying. He's like, wait, what? And then Garrow's like, don't worry, I shot them down for you.
You don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, I took them out in such a way that sensors are going to be like fuzzy for a bit. It's going to look like you all died. You better haul ass now and do what you need to do.
Yeah. And then
and Tarvitz is like, but what about you? He's like, I'm going to take control of this ship and I'm going to get word to the Emperor.
Yeah. So then Tarvitz basically crash lands into the planet.
Yeah.
Gets out and informs, I think the first people he comes across are World Eaters.
Yeah, and they don't believe him for a second.
They're like,
so he doesn't. So he lies to them, right?
Yes,
he doesn't say we've been betrayed. He's like, oh no, our enemy. They're sending out a biological weapon. They sent me as fast as I could because comms are down or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's like that sounds fucky, but sure, we're gonna bunker down.
Fine, yeah.
And that's the kind of the story that spreads throughout all the ranks is that the enemy is going to send a biological agent out, and everybody hunkers down as best they can. Even when the weapons are launched, like the Astartes still lose soldiers because they're still running to cover.
Yeah.
And they lose like a Death Guard are dying left and right because they were just fighting in the trenches, like they weren't anywhere near bunkers or anything like that.
And I mean there are some side stories going on in amongst all this. While they're bombarding the planet, the Remembrancers have been all called into an assembly, been asked to come check out this glorious sight. And
because Horus is like. So I understand that you have some misgivings about how our communication has been lately. You know, I've been putting you under strict curfew, and I haven't been feeding you much information. That's all about to change. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on.
Yeah, because I think his point is, he's like, do you want to see what war looks like? Here's what it looks like. And then
the bombs fall.
And the bombs are falling, and they're all in shock. They're like, why are you doing this? The Astartes are down there.
And they're like zooming in, like seeing people like, because the Life Eater like melts you into just biological goo.
You know what virus it reminds me of? It reminds me of the virus from Prometheus.
Yeah.
Like it's the same kind of feel almost. Yeah. And I wonder if that's
just more faster acting.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just an awesome coincidence that there like are two really cool like viruses that would eat people kind of the way it does. Mm-hmm. But like anyway, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh hey, that's like the thing from Prometheus. and Alien and whatever else.
Yeah. I feel like that's not a terribly common sci-fi thing, but cool
no, yeah,
is,
like
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, you find that with a lot of sci-fi stuff, right? They kind of use almost similar things,
like biological
but they're
weapons.
kind of just different enough to be different.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's sci-fi. It has to have the blood and gore. Biological weapons aren't cool enough. So.
Yeah.
So the only reason that Keeler. Carcassy, Cinderman. Yeah, Carcassy's dead. Keeler, Cinderman, and Olatin are there, right?
Yeah.
Mercedes. And the only reason they're there is because Keeler insisted on them going. Because the rest of Cinderman was like immediately on board pretty much when she said it, but Olatin's like, this is clearly a trap, right? Like he asked us all to the bridge.
Now Cinderman is like kissing her ass every day.
Yeah, like he's like, she's the same. She knows.
I've been kissing her ass too. She saved the shit out of her.
She knows what's good. But yeah, so against Mercedes, like better judgment, she's like, sure we're gonna go to this? Like clearly the War Master's asking us all here for no good. Like
there's something.
Why would he ask only the Remembrancers up here? After everything that's been happening and going on,
and I mean, while they're standing in the place, there are
guards all
over the place. Like, and they're in full armor. They have their weapons and stuff. Like, I mean, not that they wouldn't be traveling around the ship without their ship.
But there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Although it kind of mentions that Loken isn't always walking around in his armor, so maybe the Astartes don't normally walk around in their armor.
No, usually they
unless it's for
deploying.
But also like the Astartes and like the general population are generally in different parts of the ship.
Usually, yeah.
So unless you have a specific remembrancer who's like cataloging your goings on, like they live in it's like a city, right?
Yeah.
Like they're effectively in different districts.
Yeah.
For the most part. So like
which is why it's so kind of like cool to hear that they don't walk around in their armor all the time from Olatin's perspective, right?
It's just in a loincloth with lapping powder. Smelt of various oils.
Like
as the bombs are going.
So before the bombs go off, though.
Was it before the bombs go off?
One of my favorite fucking sequences that it doesn't talk much about is the Titan.
Oh, yeah, because it... so within the DS Irae, the Titan that's on Isfahan 3, like, they get word as well. But it almost seems like the princeps of that vessel gets word from someone else, not from the word traveling along the line.
There's some happenings.
Yeah. So he gets word of the biological attack, and is immediately shut her down, seal up every...
Titans really are, like, machines of war, like, because it lives through... the virus, like, unscathed.
And the thing that happens after the virus as well.
Also, we'll get to that part. But leading up to that whole thing, it talks about, like, what the Titan is doing on the battlefield.
Just laying fucking waste.
Yeah, it's meant to, like, melt cities.
And,
like,
it can.
Yeah. Like, it effectively can with its plasma cannon.
So it's interesting. In Galaxy in Flames, they don't really talk much about it, where it's just like, the thing seals up, and then like the troops all around them just kind of keep going forward. It was in another book. Was it Eisenstein or was it Fulgrim that they talk about how, from the perspective of the soldiers, noticing that the DS Irae...
Eisenstein.
Was it Eisenstein?
Yeah.
And like the soldiers noticed, they're like, oh, that's weird that it stopped. Anyway, war. Like, why did it just stop shooting like everything in front of us?
Eisenstein and Fulgrim's going to cover a lot of the same stuff from different perspectives.
Cool.
Because it's a war so big, you can't tell it in one tale.
Yeah.
Which is
that's
really
fair.
cool.
No, that's fair. There should be multiple perspectives anyway. Yeah. Like, unless you're going for, like, just one character all the time. Like, that's the only other way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, so the Titan's sealing up, and what are their names?
They were two...
Kassar.
Yeah.
And then
the
other one is Arkun.
I can't remember the names.
Aryukon, I think it is.
Unless I said them out loud at one point, it won't stay in my head.
Anyway, so they're effectively the two drivers of the fucking Titan, right?
Yeah.
And they're like best friends, and
they were involved with some of the shenanigans to get Keeler saved from
Magar.
Yeah, one of them's into the like Tissio Divinitas.
Yeah, one of them. One of them is full on bought in, and the other one. The other guy's trying to get him to be a part of.
Yes, and he's just not having
unconvinced.
it. Yeah. But I mean, what happens with them happens after everything blows up. So,
and while the bombs are falling, Keeler's like, okay, in the assembly back on the Vengeful Spirit, it's like, it's time to go. And it's like, wait, what? Like, we need to go now. And she immediately approaches your boy...
Action!
Yachten Cruz.
Action Cruz!
So he's one of the oldest Astartes among the former Luna Wolves, now Sons of Horus. And she just immediately like appeals to his honor and such, and it's like, you need to get us out of here. This is wrong.
Is a
because it's
snaky lady. Like her words and manipulation stuff is incredible.
But it's almost like she knew
he was already having misgivings.
Yes.
Like he was standing there like nervously, like, I'm about to be a part of some shit, aren't I?
Yeah.
I think Keeler is a psyker. Like, it doesn't... I think that's all she is. I don't think she's doing miracles and stuff. I think she's just a psyker. And she didn't know it.
I mean, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, because it's talking about, like, her ability to manipulate feelings and play on what people do. That's what a psyker does.
Okay, but then...
But she is channeling the Emperor's power as well. Like...
She's definitely getting something from the Emperor. Like, it's leading her in a path. I don't think those powers are...
What is it that they talk about in Mechanicum, the power they tap into? It's the Emperor's power, but it's not directly connected to him. It's something he established in the warp to enable travel, right?
Oh, that's cool.
That doesn't sound right to me. But I don't recall. Mechanicum's a bit of a blur.
Yeah, there is a... I can't remember what...
long ago you read it.
Yeah, no.
I can't remember what they called it, but I don't know if it's in the warp or outside the warp, but there is something that the Emperor established with his power that would enable travel effectively. Or is it communication? Maybe it's for communication, not travel.
I like communication, just psychers sending messages.
But I think it passes through something.
Okay.
And
because then that means they're incredibly powerful.
Yeah, like because the great
psychers are.
So remember,
I know that.
So you remember the moment in Mechanicum when they go to activate the Great Machine, and just before Dahlia's like, "Wait, you're tapping into this? We calculated for this.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's gonna be way more.
Yeah.
Shut it down. It's too late to shut down. Then it just like God lights up the room, kind of thing. Maybe Keeler's tapping into that.
Okay. Yeah.
Somehow. Like so, it's the Emperor's power, but it's not his will.
I feel like
So then the Emperor is...
I feel like it is... Yeah, I feel like he's being like, do that, Keeler. You
but then he wouldn't need warnings from Garrow and stuff like that. He'd know what's happening.
Yeah, maybe he's not.
So it's more of like that's what I mean. If she's tapping into this remote power, maybe it's more of like an unconscious extension of the Emperor. So she's getting his power, and maybe his will in a way, but not his conscious awareness.
Yes, okay.
Something like that. I don't know, that's just my
yeah, otherwise he'd be aware that the whole Horus thing is happening, but maybe he is.
And he needs it to happen for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I could see shit like that happening.
Well, so...
Because he's a bit of a fucker.
So Emperor gets, like, severe injury and needs 1,000 psychers to him. How else is he going to convince everybody to feed him 1,000 psychers every day? Like, this just seems like the natural progression. I don't know, there's a million ways to
He was just hungry!
Yeah. Because what he's doing with those 1,000 psychers is far more than he was doing when he was just a mortal man. An immortal man.
An immortal man.
So is it...
So Yachten Cruz.
It's Acton Cruz?
Action.
It's the Yachten Cruz.
I called him Action Cruz. I ignored the I. It is Action Cruz.
So yeah, but she seems to know that he's going to like cave to her words.
Psyker powers.
Also,
or she made him cave to her words.
Maybe, but she also...
But he seemed like a pretty cool guy to begin with, though. Like, he was always on the, like, things weren't like this back in my day, things are going wrong, like...
But then, and then it also seems to click when she mentions Loken. Right?
Yes.
Like, the minute she mentions Loken, he goes,
that's a boy. I know that boy.
He's like, hold on. Your friend's Loken.
And Loken had asked Yachten before he left to take care of these people.
Yeah, because Loken... I think Loken knew that he wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
So
he knew something was wrong.
Was like...
Wait a minute, you're these people? Okay, yeah, no, Loken...
I know what to do now.
Yeah, so he scurries them away off to the embarkation deck to steal a Thunderhawk, which I can't remember who it is, but somebody along the lines of is like, we need to up the security around Thunderhawks. People keep stealing them.
That's the War Master Malagers.
It's like, how is everybody able to take one of these whenever they want?
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because while that's happening, I'm like, man, is Horus just going to kill Malagers right now because he's pissed? But no, he doesn't. Because he enters the room, he's like, War Master, I have something to tell you.
Have you finished Mechanicum?
I've not.
Okay.
And Horus is like, yes, what is it, Mal? Well, another Thunderhawk's been taken. Oh,
We need to put some bells on those things!
God damn it! Tied to the fucking deck.
But anyway, when
so
they get to the deck to steal the Thunderhawk, Magard's waiting for them.
Somehow
monstrosity booger creature.
Yeah, like he's almost the same size.
He's almost done developing as an Astartes.
Yeah.
Yes,
pretty much.
But he's like this weird, muscly, bubbly thing. Anyway,
yeah.
But
he's getting there, but he's not like there.
But he's still like full. He still has armor on.
He was already a
stuff,
super badass, like starting off. So Astartes Power Plus Ultra.
Yes,
is just like extra.
But he ain't an actual Astartes, and therefore
he ain't actually Cruz.
I don't know about that because the fight kind of seems pretty one-sided in Magard's favor.
He does some damage.
Yeah, does somebody else intervene?
Cinderman does. Cinderman picks up Action Cruz's gun and blows him the fuck away.
That's what happened.
While they're struggling.
Oh yeah.
Because Cruz is trying to, I think, stab him with his knife. And then Magard quickly turns that around and is trying to stab him.
And Yakton does get injured, right?
Yes, I think he gets stabbed again, but intentionally did it to hit him. Because all Astartes seem to just do this.
Take the
that does not stop. That continues through the entire series that I've read so far.
I can heal it.
Yeah, but I guess...
So how is Cinderman even able to lift Yakton's gun?
The smaller bolters are huge. I imagine pulling the trigger would be the hardest
part. With like 2 hands.
Yeah, no, like it kind of mentions that Cinderman is like shaking, trying to... Because he doesn't want to shoot the gun, right? Like he doesn't want to be a part of that.
In case it shatters his wrists.
Yeah, or like whatever it is.
He's a philosophizer.
But anyway, he puts it right up to, not Magard's head, I think it is. I think he puts it up to his like... his chest.
Yeah, he probably can't reach his head, right?
Yeah, so
he doesn't shoot it from a distance. It's just like
he gets right up fucking beside him and shoots him in a spot where there's no armor because it's been broken in the fight, I think. And then Magard it says he's screaming like a soundless scream, right? Because he can't talk.
He had no tongue.
So his mouth, he's just like, you know what I mean? Like his mouth is open, he's screaming and stuff, and then what does Acton Cruz do? How does he kill him?
Just like, get on the boat, we're leaving.
No, he kills him.
Does that put the knife in his head?
Oh, yes, he stabs him through the top of the head, I think.
Goes to the...
Oh, maybe it is the chest.
Through the bottom.
Through the top of the head.
I always love the bottom.
See, I'd like the top of the
Top's
head.
really good.
Yeah,
the bottom, man, you can see when their mouth opens.
When you get them through the bottom and they might not die, they might just want ice cream.
Okay. Hot Fuzz?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
movie.
Yes, of course. So they just so they kill Magard and they jump on the ship and they fly away.
And they're just like out in space, and Yakton's like, I really hope you have a plan.
Because we're here now, and there's a lot of big ships around us that can make us not here.
And Kita's like, welcome over here.
Yeah.
And it happens to be the Eisenstein.
Yeah.
And it's like, identify yourselves. And it's like, Yakton Cruz is like, I am Yakton Cruz, formerly of the Lunar Wolves. And
Garrow's like...
It's like, formerly. It's like, yep. It's like, say no more.
Basically, yeah. Garrow's like, yeah, get the fuck off my ship. Let's go.
Yeah, we about to peace.
we are leaving.
So then so back down on Isfahan 3.
Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom.
So the gas has completely... Or the virus has eradicated everything.
Everybody's good.
Everybody that didn't make it to bunkers, or underground, or
and the people inside of the bunkers are pissed. They're like, "What the fuck?" Like, I think it dawns on them. No, it doesn't. Tarvitz.
I thought they saw that it was.
Yeah, so the guy, the World Eaters that Tarvitz are with, like, yeah, he convinced them begrudgingly that it was an enemy attack, and they got in the bunker. While it was happening, though, like the lieutenant or leader or whatever he was with, the captain was like, so you need to level with me here. This wasn't them, right? And he's like, no, it's us. They're trying to kill us.
Yeah,
they're trying to get rid of us. And he goes, those motherfuckers.
Like, now I'm even more angry. And okay, the World Eaters, like when they're fueled by rage, are fucking horrifying. Yeah. It's insane what they can do.
Wasn't it that guy that was just like, all right, well, let's just get right out there now and start getting ready to fuck him up? And Tarvit's like, no, wait,
there's always phase 2.
So like the Life Eater, whenever it starts to dissipate, it leaves behind like explosive gas, and then the firestorm hits, and they from orbit they ignite the entire planet.
Just drop a match.
Yeah, it's like a firestorm at that point. Everything gets burnt to cinders.
Yeah. Just in case.
Yeah.
The virus.
Well, it's also like a cleansing thing, so if they're going down to claim whatever's left, it's not going to be like contagions.
They can bring all the burnt dirt back onto their ship.
Or like piles of biological matter of people that melted, like they could still contain
the virus and stuff. Like in theory, I guess it could never technically
be
completely dissipate, right? Like it would always still maybe.
Yeah,
be
I can't imagine
essence.
the planet's habitable after that idea.
Yeah.
Not too sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so they blow up the planet, and
so after all of that happens, the Titan.
Yeah. So
the Titan doesn't come into play until later.
No. But what happens on the Titan though?
Like the Titan itself is fucking fine.
Yes.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah, like it might have some like burn marks on it or something, but like otherwise, like it's effectively
paint.
It's effectively immortal to everything.
I guess.
Except for other Titans,
with
right?
extra,
like that's the
lava.
only lava.
Yeah, don't step in lava.
So on board the DSC though, like a scuffle goes down.
Yes.
And
so Fight Club inside the
Kassar and Princeps turn it. He's like, okay, like turn on. They turn on the DSC ray again, and they're like, okay, now you need to fire upon the Death Guard. And he's like,
what?
Pardon me? And he's like,
excuse.
He's like, excuse. He's like, that's an order. I just told you what to do. Now do it. And he's like, hold the fuck on. I'm not doing that. Like that. There's no way that came from the War Master. And he's like, well, because it's an order and I gave it to you.
It doesn't matter who it's from. You're doing it.
Yeah. And then they have
a little scuffle breaks out.
They have a standoff with their handguns and they're shooting inside a pressurized.
Yeah. No,
that part didn't make any sense to me.
Shoot a fucking noob tube inside a submarine.
Like, well, I mean, because you're not supposed to like shoot a gun inside of a plane, right?
The bullets bounce.
Yeah, bullets bounce and inside of a pressurized capsule like that. Yeah. Like it's gonna burst open. That's how pressure works.
So Kassar manages to get on the other side of a door and like.
Well, he just gets behind he gets behind his chair.
Yeah.
And turn it gets out the door.
Oh, okay. But so then it's him and the other guy.
Yes. And so then Kassar's like, okay, well, I need to kill him and effectively take over the DSC ray.
And the other guy's like, well, I don't know. I think I don't think I can.
Yeah, like regardless of your righteous thing that you're going for, like that. No, like this.
I don't want to die because
to
of
do
that.
This. I don't.
Well, yeah, he's like, I want to pilot my own Titan one day. That'll never happen if I side with you.
Yeah, and so then
very relatable character.
And then Kassar's like, well, I'm going out to kill him, and then he turns around and the dude's got his gun in his face, and
we don't see what happens, but because of what happens later,
you know what happens.
Yeah. Although, and I guess presumably after this happens, like I guess the Titan maybe does light up the Death Guard. But then it must get recalled or something, because it's not a part of the Isfahan conflict until the very end again.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't come back into play at all.
That's true. Does it light up the Death Guard?
Never says.
I might not.
It doesn't even mention that in...
Yeah, it might have just...
I don't think so.
Maybe it needed to be recalled because it needed the 2 pilots or whatever, and maybe they need to get someone else.
It does need 2 pilots, yeah.
And maybe it was out of ammunition or something, or whatever else they wanted to say.
Yeah, they were flinging hella fire.
So that all happens, and then it effectively turns into, I believe it said, a 6-month war?
Yeah.
I thought it was 3.
I thought it was longer.
I thought it said
it was
3, yeah.
It was a number of months, though, which is a hell of a lot longer than the War Master.
Yeah, the War Master was anticipating, like...
Instant, everybody dead, and then maybe a small cleanup that lasts, like, at the like a week at the most.
Yeah.
Or something like that, you know?
But
because your boy Tarvitz got word out,
but the Werewolves and the Death Guard and the World Eaters
and the Emperor's Children.
And Emperor's Children.
Some of them.
Well, yeah, but they're not nearly as badass as the other 3 units. They're there.
Yeah. I mean, Tarvitz is a pretty badass.
And I mean, regardless of how much you might hate him, Lucius is a motherfucker.
Super badass.
He kills a lot of people.
Yeah.
So then, while he's fighting the dude that they were sent to kill on Isfahan 3, right? The fake, like, guy that
whatever. The guy who turned on the Emperor or whatever.
He develops this, like, death song inside of him or something.
It was from one of the war singers.
Yeah.
I think he hears it.
No, but I think...
and then he just continues it from there.
But whenever
he kills the guy,
it
triggers something.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then it keeps saying that this song starts playing in him whenever he's getting angry.
And whenever he's killing.
Yeah. And so because it mentions it when he's talking to Eidolon later, and then he's like, but he represses it very quickly, like... Okay, I need to calm the fuck down, kind of thing, because he's angry.
So something has...
That starts in Fulgrim.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it might not have been because of anything that happened on Isfahan, but
Isfahan might have been a tipping point for it.
Just because it did kind of mention, I was like, oh, cool, like this thing that makes him a super badass.
Yeah, basically, I'm surprised Lucius got sent to the planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
He only got sent because of his relationship with Tarvitz.
Yes, that's what it was. Okay.
Yes.
And then he realizes that.
Yes.
Well, actually, Tarvitz is the one who fucking does it. And then it's also a pride thing. Basically, Lucius is Vegeta.
Yeah.
And that's the character that I think of the most. Every single time that I hear anything about
I guess,
him.
like, the story of Lucius is what if Vegeta stayed Majin Vegeta? Like, flip-flopping sides, and then finally it's like, fuck it, I'm a demon, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so this 3-month war happens, or however many months. And like
3 to 6 months.
Yeah, so...
But I read 6, but maybe not.
And the Loyalists, as they come to be known, like the guys who turned on the War Master because of his betrayal.
The true survivors.
The guys who, among whom... are calling themselves the Luna Wolves again, because they are not the Sons of Horus.
And they apparently rebrand their
they repaint their
armor and stuff. Like I don't know how they do that with no materials.
Well, they were fighting a war. Like
they had got resources down on the thing.
Yeah,
they would have needed
they had bunkers and
food and drink to survive too.
I guess. Yeah.
And they're holding out. Like they're losing guys every day, but it's kind of almost a stalemate in a way as well.
Well, and it's kind of funny because like the commanders that are on the ground are some of the better fighters in
like you have like Torgad and you have Loki and you have Tarvitz.
Like these guys are badasses for a reason. That's why they're captains, right? Like so, and like just the defensive positions that they set up. You know, we see this as the emergence of Saul Tarvitz as a battlefield planner. Like. Yeah. His genius on the battlefield starts to come out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because even though they're taking casualties, they're killing a lot of fucking Astartes that are coming at them.
Yeah, they're keeping it pretty toe-to-toe.
But I mean, like, they all know inevitably that there are hundreds of thousands of Astartes still to come.
Yeah,
so
they're hoping that
they can just
the Eisenstein gets back to the Emperor and the Emperor gets back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tarvitz tells them that, Garrow is off trying his damnedest.
Their hope is that they can... not that the Emperor comes back to them, that they can keep Horus here long enough that the Eisenstein gets to the Emperor.
Yeah, like they don't really hold out much hope that they're going to live through it. They're just like, we need to be the biggest motherfucking thorn in his side for as long as possible.
Yeah. Practiced assholery.
Yes, and actually, as the fighting goes and they're losing guys, it looks like they're holding out incredibly well. But someone...
It was after a conversation with because Lucius is getting more and more...
There was a sequence of events that all happened kind of at the same time.
Yeah, and Lucius is getting more and more unhappy with Tarvitz being...
in command of him.
Yeah,
specifically.
Because everybody is effectively taking orders from Tarvitz because he was the one who brought the message and rallied everybody. Like, he saved all their lives.
And he's damn good at what he did.
And he's been... doing good by him.
Yeah, and
but of course,
winning
Lucius,
fights, if you want to call it that.
Lucius all along the way has been like, why him? Why not me? I outrank him, blah blah blah, or whatever.
And Lucius is just a better fighter in every.
I could clearly kill him. I don't know why they're taking orders from him.
Yeah.
So
Lucius is a simple guy.
Then after one of the later fights, he kills some Champlain guy. I think it said. Right?
Chaplain.
Chaplain, sorry.
Yeah, so
I read it the same way.
They send down like a big boy to take them out, and Lucius 1v1s him and kills him.
like beats the stuffing out of this poor fella.
Yeah, this guy, from what they were, kind of the way they were describing him, he should kill, like 1,000 Astartes by himself. Yeah. That's how good he is. And
Lucius dances on his dick.
And Lucius is like, mother, because that's where it brings up this death song thing again, right? And he's just...
I can hear the music!
Yeah.
Nowadays in your blood!
Fueled by this song. And
has nothing to do with the God of Chaos. That's crazy.
And he absolutely, just stomps this dude.
Yeah.
And then he clean cuts his head off his shoulders, I believe, is the final blow.
He hits the helmet.
Well, it brings that up, I think it's a chapter and a half later that it brings
Lucius
that up.
was good enough at it that he killed him in a specific way to get what he needed out of it. It's like, Lucius, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, so Lucius has his head and stuff, and then a little bit later on, because he's protecting, I think they said, the East. He has just a company, it says, so that could...
And that's all they need.
Well, yeah, because I think
everything that comes through there just dies.
Yeah.
So, because it's the heavy weapons guys, I think, or some of them are the heavy weapon, and so Lucius kind of goes off on his own, And he's sitting and he rips out the Vox thing, I think it says. And,
right, because he uses that helmet to communicate.
And he instantly communicates with Eidolon because their communication is not cut off. It's just everybody else that's on the planet.
Yes.
Their communication's cut off from the top.
Yeah.
Right? So he has words with Eidolon and he's like...
I don't want to be here.
And he's like, I'd like to get back into the Legion now.
And Eidolon's like, you fucking what?
like, are you fucking serious? You're not coming back. And he's like, but what if I give you Tarvitz? And then he's like, ooh.
I do like the sound of me some dead Tarvitz.
So you can feel treachery afoot.
Yeah.
And
Lucius might be a villain.
I don't know why
might be a bad guy.
I don't know why I bothered, but there was a little bit of hope in me that was like maybe Lucius
getting Eidolon down on the planet.
Just getting Eidolon down there so he can shove a little bit.
I hope Lucius still kills Eidolon. At the end of all of this.
I'm thinking though.
Eidolon's
a bit of a badass himself. I'm pretty sure that'd be a really good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think
and maybe with his
won.
scream power. No, he's got that secret power inside of him.
Yeah.
Unless Lucius also gets one of those, which I could totally see happening. I know it happens. So
he gets something, doesn't he?
I've seen the cover of Lucius's book.
Yeah, so do I.
In Fulgrim, when he goes back, he goes under the knife, almost immediately.
Did he?
Yeah. I can't remember what he got, though.
What if I told you Fulgrim was also a bit of a blur for me?
Yeah.
I remember, the last half of Fulgrim, it's...
I think his upgrade isn't any one particular ability. I think it's
just
it's his eyes. That's what he gets super eyes.
Which makes sense because of the picture. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he basically turns into Bradley from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. So while they're waging war and stuff, and they're taking quite a few casualties now and stuff, and their numbers are dwindling, and the captains are talking amongst themselves we don't have much longer that we can do this, but we need to continue to be the thorn in the side.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what about the East? How are we doing on the East?
It's I haven't heard from them in a bit.
Yeah, and Tarvitz is like, well,
Lucius,
that's where Lucius
what the
is.
fuck
And
are you doing?
I'm sure they're fine, but just to be safe, I'll go check.
Just me.
And I think at this point,
Tarvitz going
Loken and Torgodden have gotten word from Lucius
that Abaddon and Little Horus
are on the planet, and Loken's like, well, let's go kill them then.
2v2, boys, battle royale.
I'm not sure if it's...
Mornival showdown.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be they're going to kill them, or maybe it's a one last chance
to try and
be like, yo, motherfuckers, you need to be on our side. Mm-hmm. And it was really good. Remember how I said to you before, Abaddon seemed bigger and bigger and bigger than the rest? I didn't realize he was wearing Terminator armor.
Yes.
Well, so and it describes that in the showdown that they have, and I was like, oh, Loken's fucked. Loken's fucked then. He can't kill a Terminator.
He puts up a really good fight, though. It's Super Terminator.
Up
against.
So anyway, so then
White Tyson.
So Loken and Torgodden go off, and actually, I think Angron's on the planet, right? Because Angron is the first. He's with the War Eaters.
It's this mix of Lucius, Angron, Abaddon and Horus, and then...
Not the Horus, but Little Horus.
Yeah, Little Horus, and then the Dies Irae. All of those things happening
So those things haven't really started to converge just yet, though.
Sure
first Tarvitz goes to check on the East.
But Loken and Torgodden have already taken off.
They have taken off, but those other major forces haven't started converging
Not
on
yet.
position yet.
Yes. So then I think it...
Tarvitz goes to check.
Tarvitz goes to check, and he finds the place where they were supposed to be.
Does he witness Lucius killing...
No, he just says everybody's dead, and it's just Lucius standing there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
he notices the blood on his weapon.
Yeah, and Tarvitz is like...
these guys were killed with swords?
None of these guys were shot. What the fuck? And
Lucius is like, no, they weren't?
Funny!
Lucius, I think he grins, right? And he's like
a shit-eating grin.
And he's like, he was like, yes, no, they met their match by my blade, kind of thing. And Tarvitz is like, you traitor! And he's like,
Lucius is like, did you not see this coming, dude? I've been a bad guy this whole time.
I think before Tarvitz steps in the room, he sees the corpses and immediately calls for.
There's dudes on the way.
Yes, he calls the unit. I think he was calling the unit to back him up anyway.
Yeah.
He says, leave it to the Luna Wolves, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
come with me, bring the heavy weapons and stuff, and whatever people were left. And I think during all this, even though it's kind of not really that important, Neurovipus is on the roof.
Yeah.
He's just raining ungodly hellfire on whatever walks into the courtyards and shit.
I thought he was up there just, like, dancing.
Doing the floss.
The default Fortnite dance.
Nothing but loincloths and shoulder pads.
Can't stop me now.
Lucius and Tarvitz inevitably have a showdown.
And Tarvitz...
And Tarvitz, while he does hold out, he knows for a fact he can't beat Lucius.
Like, Lucius is playing with him.
Oh, the whole time.
And, like, slowly shredding him.
Yeah. Doing light cuts here, light cuts there.
But Tarvitz lands a few hits that seem to piss Lucius off, like he plays on him.
Yeah, Lucius is getting more and more serious and realizes that Saul Tarvitz is keeping up with him as he's getting more and more serious.
Yes.
But then I think it kind of dawns on Lucius
that Tarvitz is wasting time.
Yeah, he's just wasting time. Yeah. And
didn't Tarvitz land like a pretty nasty blow towards the end of their little
an
fight?
elbow? I think it's right to the side. Actually, I think it is. And it wins Lucius a little bit.
And then your boys show up, and then he's like, "Shoot him!"
Yeah, Tarvitz notices movement in the back, and I think because Lucius's blade has been knocked out of his hand.
Yeah.
And so they're having hand-to-hand combat. That's why he got that good blow.
Yeah.
And that's why he's not dead.
Yeah. Because
Lucius with a sword is the most terrifying thing.
Yeah. And Tarvitz brings up the fact that Loken had pointed out that it's not always about swords. You need to be able to be a good fighter in all situations. So then Tarvitz notices movement, immediately dives to the ground and goes, "Kill him!" Like, just shoot him.
But of course.
But Lucius, being Lucius, has gotten away.
He scurries away like a
I think he takes a hit, though. I don't think he's able to
I think he takes like a shoulder hit or something like that.
Yeah, completely unscathed.
And as we've learned, shoulder hits either do nothing or kill you.
Yes, one of the...
But one was with a poisonous weapon, though.
But I guess, so now that shit's gone down... the way it has, Eidolon's boys have managed to push like pretty much into the center of their gathering.
Well, it's funny who they do the perspective of, because it's Vadon, the apothecary, who's just healing dudes. He's not out there to kill people, and he's tending to one dude who's like springing like a million leaks, it seems. And right, and
put the blood back in, it's what's supposed to be.
And Eidolon's like, that will be enough from you, and he's kind of turns and he knows who it is. It says. But he's like, identify yourself or whatever, and Eidolon basically knocks his head off his shoulders with that hammer.
Yeah.
And
it's a big hammer.
I think I messaged Joseph after that, or I told him, I was like, man, even Vadon's not safe. And he's like, dude, don't like anybody. Everybody does. And I was like, man.
But you can't like any characters.
It's great what happens next, though, because Tarvitz like very quickly is like, okay, here's what happened. Eidolon's going to be about here by now. We're going to have to move these guys here and these guys here. They have superior forces to us, but if we close in from these directions...
we can piss them off one more time.
And they fucking do.
Yeah.
Like, Eidolon's dudes get, like, fucking shredded. He doesn't bite it. Like, he ends up getting away, but...
like a trash panda.
Yeah. Oh my god, like, it's down to pretty much him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it says that he's like standing in the middle of it, swinging his mighty hammer, killing dudes left and right.
As his soldiers are dropping with it, like around him.
Yeah, but so Saul does like a pincer move, right? Like where they close them in very quickly because...
And that's kind of like the last of our forces, last of our resources.
Yeah, Tarvitz is like, well, like he made a very bad strategic move because he just wants the glory.
Because he's a cocky prick.
Because
overextending.
Yeah. So anyway, so then I think the next thing it cuts to
Loken, right?
I'm pretty sure it cuts to Loken at this point.
Yeah, Loken
and Torgodden fight.
They're meeting in a church.
Abaddon and which seems to be unscathed from the fighting somehow. It's still standing.
Yeah.
Like almost unscathed, I think it said.
Well, I mean,
like it has somehow just it's missed all the hailfire of everything.
Really thick walls.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
The big roof.
No, the
solid big roof, thick walls.
No, the planet was just lit on fire. No.
Super thick walls.
No, the rest of the fucking city's like destroyed.
Yeah, I mean their walls weren't as
the buildings they were taking cover in were intact enough for them to be like.
I mean,
defensible positions.
It was a temporary inferno.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it kind of would
like
be
a flash
that, right?
in the pan, like pfft. Or a fart.
Anyway, so
firestorms can't melt steel beams.
So they have their encounter. And Loken just naturally sizes up Abaddon, so Torgon's like, I guess I'm fighting him, which is little Horus, right? And their fight is much more even until the end. But it's mostly centered around
Loken and
Abaddon.
Don't see much of,
which is that kind of rivalry we saw in like the very beginning, where he's like, if I have to fight Abaddon ever, like.
I don't think we really talked about it like throughout all of our Warhammer talks, really, but like Abaddon's always been looking down on Loken pretty much from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, except maybe not the very beginning, but shortly after.
Well, he was happy.
Well, as soon as Loken was catching up, Abaddon was like, "Whoa,
hey! I've been here since the being here.
Look at my armor."
Yeah,
like
it's
big.
I'm big.
I'm big, so you're not as big. So
you're not as big.
Pretty much since Loken didn't decide to hang out at the lodge.
That's when Abaddon
was probably like completely flipped on him. Right?
And then
there's like that one like string starting to break when Loken like stepped up in front of the false emperor, and then Abaddon landed. He's like, what the fuck? And then it was just kind of like smooth sailing, and then you had a lodge.
Yeah, the lodge thing was the final straw, and then of course being at the temple. And they're standing across from each other. It's like, these two are fighting at some point. Yeah. Like, it's coming.
But Torgadan and Little Horus's fight is mostly them just mixing words. Yeah. Because, it's obvious that Little Horus is not completely...
Yeah, because he's not 100% convinced.
Yeah, he's 98%, but there's still 2% of him that's like, man, is this the right thing to be doing? Like, are we...
Yeah, and you can see the doubt in his face.
We've been killing people that are doing this kind of thing.
Is what it describes from Torgadan's point of view. Is like, you can see the doubt in his face and stuff. And anyway...
You're the chosen one!
So then it skips to, it goes back to the Abaddon-Loken fight, and Loken is doing his damnedest to stay alive, because Abaddon is a huge motherfucker.
But no slower for it.
No, it says he makes up for it by being as good at fighting as he is.
Although, I guess they do
no wasted movement.
So they do mention that, he is really fast for being in Terminator armor, but not as fast as Loken.
Yes, Loken.
Not as agile.
Maybe Loken is a tiny bit smarter in the way he fights, so he's able to not take his big hits. I mean, he still gets punched into the wall.
He's losing.
Loken is getting his ass handed to him, and every time that Loken tries anything on Abaddon, he can't penetrate the armor because it's way stronger armor than what Loken has, and I think Loken gets hit by one of the power fists, and his armor just shatters.
Yeah, and he's just broken ribs for days.
Blows the fuck up.
And he eventually has to use a falling wall.
Well, he collapses an archway, I think, on top of on Abaddon just to knock him out of commission.
Yeah.
Just in time to look over and see Torgadan get his head lopped off.
Yeah. So, but I guess there was the fight previous to that where Loken and Torgadan are trying to move ahead, and they come across Karn, the World Eater captain, and I'm pretty sure Karn would kill Loken if the two were to fight. Or they did fight, but Loken, again being smart, pushes him up, and he gets impaled on a tank.
Yeah,
I think it is
right.
And Torgon's like, "Wait, was that?" He's like, "Karn, is he dead?" I don't know. Hopefully.
He over there.
He's currently flapping on the tank.
There's not many things that can go toe-to-toe with, an angry World Eater.
Yeah.
Because they don't know they're dead when they're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, they keep going.
Because that would be, super rage-induced adrenaline, I guess, and, they just don't die.
It's like, dude, you have no blood, stop!
A Battle for the Abyss has a very angry World Eater in it.
Is he a good guy?
Are there any good World Eaters?
I guess it depends.
Well, yeah, because there's the loyalists that are fighting, and they're
slaughtering
their own people.
Some people are on the side of Horus. They think Horus is doing good because the Emperor's a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's all subjective.
I guess, true.
So, yeah, he's on the side of the loyalists.
Oh, okay, so he's against Horus.
Yes, but I don't think he has any idea. None of them have any idea what's happening.
Okay.
I like how far it's gone. I think they're fighting the Word Bearers in it.
Yikes. Okay.
I imagine a good amount of the World Eaters just want an excuse to fight Astartes.
We thought the Emperor's children were, kind of pushovers and bitches generally. The Word Bearers are, fucking useless.
But Erebus is the one who set all this in motion,
That explains why they had to get what they wanted just through sheer skulkery and espionage.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is achieved through battle.
Yeah, Erebus getting Horus to fall without firing a bullet or swinging a sword is...
the greatest achievement of their entire legion.
Yeah.
I guess the only bit of action you ever see Erebus in is when he's fighting in the battle cage, right?
Oh, and he goes
Against
toe-to-toe with Lucius. Yeah.
And loses.
But only after a long fight.
Yeah.
But it kind of felt like to me that like Erebus wasn't even trying though.
Probably not.
Like it kind of seems like Erebus is actually a motherfucker.
Erebus may or may not be able to use like warp.
I mean, that was before he had his
writing
powers.
on his face says so.
Oh yeah, because he's a shit eater. Shit eating grin. He eats poop.
We were talking like about a week ago or something. And I don't know where it came from, but it was
looked
like...
up his picture.
Yeah, and it's like, this looks like a man who eats poo. And just came up with a scenario where it's like, he's not a shit eater, but like, he goes to like take over some like village or whatever, and like barges into some witch's hut, and she curses him with shit eating, and he just owns it. And just from then on, it's like, okay, we're going to be sending you in to this battle. It's going to be probably a suicide mission. You might die. But will there be poo?
Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to move past that.
That's Erebus.
Okay,
so remember that every time you think about Erebus.
God. So to conclude the Abaddon, Loken, Little Horus, and Torgon fight, after Loken
Torgon gets beheaded.
As
Loken gets beheaded.
As Loken's watching this, like the rubble behind him shifts, and he's like,
here we go.
Yeah, and the rubble shifting as what's the deer's Ire, right? Like
it's Abaddon getting out from.
Oh, I guess yes. I guess there's also that, but
Abaddon was covered in archway.
Oh yeah,
and so as he's watching Torgon get his head lopped off and going no, Abaddon's like bursting out
from the shade.
Yeah,
but
with bat grenade.
But it seems like he's only like waist up. Like it's like he still is buried in it.
Yeah.
But so then Loken realizes that this is probably his one chance to actually do some real damage because he can't move.
Yeah.
And like he's trying to... It kind of sounds like he doesn't have his fucking helmet on for some reason. He's trying to like stab him, I think. Or he does stab him. And it might be one of those, he took the hit to power out because Abaddon just all of a sudden isn't in the rubble anymore.
Yeah.
Because the power armor that the Astartes have is incredible... But the Terminator armor is more incredible. Like it's like 10 times the power, and he bursts out of the rubble. And Loken is
doesn't Loken get buried and dead?
Yeah, he gets buried. But
is that from the DSE array?
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure there's a plasma blast that goes through it though, and it collapses.
Yeah, so at this point the DSE array is back on the battlefield. It's making its way to the Loyalist fortification. And it levels the church pretty much with all three of them in it, but Loken ends up getting, like after getting like a death blow pretty much from Abaddon, he then gets buried in church at that point.
He gets stabbed by the same sword that killed...
Oh, yes, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, the same sword Little Horus used, but Abaddon uses it, right?
Yeah, he stabs Loken.
Because he tells Little Horus to do it, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he can't, and he's like, fine. But he says, look, and it's only fitting that the sword that kills Torgodon should also kill you. But I think that's when the plasma blast comes through.
I think he does get stabbed, doesn't he?
Anyway.
But he doesn't get beheaded.
Loken
gets stabbed.
He gets stabbed. Okay.
But not beheaded.
No, so then... but then the plasma blast goes through and everything.
And like the last thing from Loken is like just trapped in darkness, life fading.
Yeah, or he's looking up and I think he smiles actually because death has finally come for him and he's been talking about it for 3 books now.
Yeah.
And but again, he died a glorious death, right? Because he fought to the end. There was no being a coward and stuff. He came up against an enemy that almost certainly would kill him 10 out of 10 every time.
Yeah.
So. But then it's the last remaining Emperor's Children, Luna Wolves, World Eaters, whatever's left is in the church, or the chapel, or... No, the Precentor's Palace. And there's like 100 of them left.
They're like hunkered up in the attic or whatever, aren't they?
Yeah, like they've taken about as many casualties as they can, and they're like, well, they're all waiting outside, like they can see them, but it's because the DZ ray is lighting up the building.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that Horus has finally had enough of this, and he just orbitally bombards the rest of the planet. And It doesn't say that they all die, but it sounds like they can accurately hit things from space.
Yeah.
So, they're dead.
They skadoosh that building.
Yeah,
They're dead.
They can like orbital strike like down to the meter. It seems.
Yeah, like it seemed very precise because they were like slowly destroying pieces of it as they were getting closer to them, and it says they're just standing there, like there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then it flips.
How does the book wrap up?
It flips up. It flips up to the vengeful spirit, and they're having a meeting. Of all the
and they're like
all the people are alive, but it's little Horace that is the most
shooketh.
Yeah, I guess
Afflicted.
But I guess before that, Horace is like, now that everything has happened on Isfahan 3, while it has taken as long as as it has,
longer than he wanted,
we are still pushing forward with our plans
for Isfahan 5.
And Isfahan 5 will be the turning point for everything.
Yeah.
And little Horace at that point is like, what do you plan on doing? Like, the people that still are with the Emperor will still be with the Emperor after Isfahan 5, and, you know, what are your plans? And he says, we strike for Terra. And you're like, oh, shit!
Yeah, after Isfahan 5, they head to Terra.
Yeah, they're heading for Terra, so...
Yeah, Isfahan 5 happens in book 5.
It was cool,
and then there's 50 books until the Siege of Terra series starts. So.
In the,
it happens in Descent of Angels? Isfahan 5
Fulgrim.
Eisenstein's number 4.
Right. I can't see Horace here.
It was cool.
Horace Rising from here.
The audiobook version of Galaxy in Flames, how it ended on, like, the words pretty much like Isfahan 5 and like an audio stinger, pretty much. Like, again, for people that know Warhammer in like the bullet point form because they're more into 40k stuff, and, you know, they're getting their.
And we can imagine that there's been like 20 years of books and figures and story being told,
kind of referencing these events. So
this book series started in 2006 after everybody
already
kind of knows the story, so they're getting to see it played out. And it is changing a few things for the better. As far as I'm aware of, the big fight in Thousand Suns didn't happen exactly the way that it did prior, and they made it way fucking
We're getting
cooler.
the true history.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Or, so I'm very excited to see what Isfahan 5 is all about.
Yeah.
Because I've heard from Joseph that it is essentially a massacre.
Yeah, it's referred to as the Drop Site Massacre.
And it's not what I imagined, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
It's better than I pictured.
Yeah.
Because I'm cool.
There is books that have more perspectives.
Cool.
Because I'm cool with like little spoilery things here, because I really don't care. I'm going to read it anyway, and I'll experience it my own.
Yeah, ask away.
Does Isfahan 5 have anything to do with Ultramarines? Because I'm pretty sure they're my favorite faction. So
Ultramarines are on Macrog and
Calth
at this point, and the Word Bearers are heading that way.
So then the Word Bearers must be a pretty formidable army then. They're planning on it kind of sounds like they're doing it from behind. Like they're just going to attack.
They got a really big gun from the Mechanicus, and Mechanicum. And they may or may not have it after Battle for the Abyss. Because some Ultramarines and Word Bearers and Space
the nozzle.
Yeah, may or may not have fucked that whole plan up. But there may or may not be a second weapon as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you'll be continuing Eisenstein.
Yes,
you just started it.
Yes, I finished. I like literally finished on my phone, opened up Eisenstein, started reading immediately.
Yeah,
because I want to continue it. Right, like I like the momentum. Like I said, unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of time to read. But I was saying to Joseph, if I have the book in my hand, I seem to read more. Yeah. I don't know why that is. But
if I'm on my phone, I will
I'm almost tempted
essentially to other apps and get distracted.
Well, like I just got a text message, and I would be apt to just stop, text, and then go back.
Come back and not be in the story.
Yeah, be like, oh yeah.
Whereas like you're reading the book, you see your phone move, you're like, oh, I'll finish this chapter and I'll check what that says.
Yeah. So the Drop Site Massacre involves.
You can tell me what
8 legions?
Death Guard, Emperor's Children, Sons of Horus,
World
Eaters, Night Hunters, Salamanders, Iron Hands,
and the Imperial Fists. No, they're not there yet. Is it just them? No, Alpha Legion.
Alpha Legion, and
that's it.
Raven Guard.
Okay, so who?
Wait, so 5.
As far as I'm aware, of Corax is there as well.
Okay.
So, who are on the side of the Emperor and who are on the side of Horus?
You'll need to read.
Ah!
Yeah. No, because that's That's why it's called the massacre and not a war.
Oh, so then it's a lot of like killing from behind. Perhaps,
Horus reveals who's on his side at that point.
Okay. Oh, and I guess there's a little bit of a snippet between Fulgrim and Horus, which kind of sounds actually important. But I'm not really sure. Fulgrim finally makes his reappearance on the Vengeful Spirit.
Well, he's dressed like a fucking clown
to report back to Horus about.
He's been up to some weird shit.
Yeah.
To bring word of his
Ferrus Manus
to try and get Ferrus Manus on their side, and he effectively was like, "No." Like that's a bad idea.
That boy ain't budging.
Like
there's a bit of a conflict there.
Yeah, like it's like why the Emperor is the one who made us. It seems like Ferrus Manus is like, no, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's the Emperor. Why would you do that? Basically, is what I gathered from it. And Horus is pissed.
Yeah, there's a few Primarchs.
Horus is like, you said you'd get him. I made my plans based on you getting him. Fuck. All right, well, I'm sending you to Isfahan 5 then. It's like, really? Come on, send the other guys. I don't want to go to Isfahan 5. It's like, no, it's going to be you. You're going to build the castle.
Yeah.
And
you're going to fix your issue, which you may or may not do.
But it seems like Horus knows how to play Fulgrim, though, and he plays to his pride, right? Because
I don't trust anyone else to do it.
And Fulgrim's like, oh, you're playing to my pride, aren't you?
You know it always works, brother.
And Horus is like, well, is it working? He goes, yes, it is. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So
sure,
but
you dumb bitch.
There's tension between the two of them.
Yeah,
there always seems to have been, basically from the start. Even though
and that is explained in Fulgrim,
and then Fulgrim is his favorite brother, or is it Sanguinius?
Everyone's
Which one is his favorite brother? I don't know.
Whatever one he needs to manipulate more at the time.
Okay.
Horus is a genius.
I'm Horus Lupercal, and this is my favorite Primarch
on the Citadel. Yeah. Yeah, it's very clear that Horus didn't hate any Primarchs, but he knew exactly what to say to use all of them.
Because he is a genius.
Yeah.
But I don't get the sense that he's the strongest Primarch. I feel like he would lose to a few Primarchs if they were to actually go toe-to-toe.
Yeah,
Horus is more tactically minded.
But I'm saying, like,
so,
in a one-up-one fight, like, he'd lose to Angron. There's no way he'd beat Angron.
Yeah, I think...
But Horus would manipulate the situation so that he wouldn't be at a disadvantage with it.
Yes.
Or he wouldn't even be in the fight.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
I think, straight up toe-to-toe...
he would lose
Angron or Leman Russ would be at the top. Leman Russ is a motherfucker.
Yeah. And then I guess, like, Guilliman is kind of in the same boat as Horus, right? He's just a tactical genius. Yeah. Like, he knows how to fight.
Same with Lion.
And, like, when Fulgrim's not being, like, a pansy...
Fulgrim's pretty good on the battle.
Yeah, he can kind of go Demon Saiyan.
Yeah. Yeah. Magnus. Magnus is a motherfucker.
I mean, but he's also channeling warp energy at all times,
and it
right?
may or may not matter how much warp energy he has. Some Primarchs may just beast through that.
Seriously?
1,000 Suns is a really good book.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a sequence at the end of that. Well, so the book after... that follows, like, after 1,000 Suns is called Prospero Burns.
Yeah. No, it's not. There's a book underneath it.
But that follows the Space Wolves storyline thing. By the end of 1,000 Suns, Prospero has burned. I don't know what Prospero Burns is about.
Maybe it's from their perspective.
Maybe.
Because it's from the Space Wolves' perspective, right?
1,000 Suns is from Magnus.
The 1,000 Suns, right?
Yeah,
that's
Magnus
what they're. But
Prospero Burns is retelling the story from
the Space Wolves.
From the Space Wolves.
So it is that, it's straight up that conflict then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because then that's something that Horus needed to happen because he couldn't get Magnus or Leman Russ on his side. So send them to fight. And he knew that he couldn't fuck with Guilliman because the Ultramarines are
I'm sorry. It kind of sounds like the Ultra... Like when we said...
Ultramarines are kind of like the peak of Space Marines.
And then
they're
Ultra. Yeah. And then it kind of seems like... because they
they're referred to as the Primaris in...
Primaris Estatus.
Yeah. They're like they are the Space Marine group.
Well, because it's like we were saying, like they're even in 40K, where some of these other legions might not be
and
anymore.
They're still referred to as Ultramarines.
Like their name hasn't changed, their paint hasn't changed.
Yeah, they're just like super badass as AF. Space Wolves continue forward like as they are.
So after
might be the only.
After Mechanicum, would you say we should do Tales of Heresy next?
That is up to you.
Okay.
Tales of Heresy has some cool stories that are in between.
Yeah, because I just thinking, because Miles and I are probably going to be reading things in about the same order. Like, because you've been kind of jumping here and there and all over and ahead and all that stuff. It's just because, he's on to Flight of the Azatine now, and then next he'll probably be doing Fulgrim, and then after that he'll be doing Mechanicum, right? So I was just wondering after that, because I'm going to wrap up Mechanicum in the next few days, I'm sure, if I should do Tales of Heresy.
No, Tales of Heresy needs to come after Descent of Angels.
So should I do then Descent Fallen Tales? Or Descent Fall Tales? Fallen Angels? Fall of Angels?
Fallen Angels.
Fallen Angels?
Yeah. Yeah, Descent, and then Fallen Angels can follow right after. I think you need to do Legion before Tales of Heresy.
What does Legion cover? Like what?
Legion,
I know
the 20th
it means
Legion.
I know it means a Legion. But what is the Legion?
It's the
called?
Alpha Legion.
The Alpha Legion.
Yeah,
so
Alfarius' Legion.
So they're motherfuckers too, right?
They're Legion 20. They're all about like stealth and subterfuge. Like they're like when you look at them, you can't even tell which one is the Primarch generally.
So they're all that big as well.
They're all little.
They can manipulate what people see.
Really?
Yeah, no, they're Legion is basically like what if Born was at war. Like, yeah, it's amazing.
Jesus Christ.
Alfarius Born. Yeah. No, yeah, Legion's really good. And Legion was just filled with really cool plot twists and like suspense and stuff like that, but none of it based around a war that's happening. Like there is a war happening, but it's like it doesn't really matter.
It's one of those Xenos races that don't really matter.
And it might not even be a Xenos race.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Legion's really cool. It is good to go Mechanicum before Legion, though. They should have been written in a different order. So yeah, maybe do Mechanicum, then Descent of Angels and Fallen Angels. I don't think you'll enjoy Descent or Fallen Angels very much.
I really like Descent of Angels, what I've read.
I think you're gonna love both of them.
Dude, it's Space Knights.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool.
It's Space Knights of the Round Table.
Sounds fun.
It's
really
fun.
Cool.
I don't think it's going to be near the top for you because I don't think it's the stuff that you're generally
I like the
in
stuff
40K.
that ties in with the major goings on.
Yeah, and it has nothing to fucking do with any of that shit.
It's
I don't remember the end of Fallen Angels. It has nothing to do with anything at all. And Fallen Angels kind of paints Lionel Johnson not very good, and it's clear that he's way better than how he acts in Fallen Angels, but that's fine. It's different authors handle characters in different ways.
Hold up.
There's a part where
Is he still cool?
He's super cool.
Okay,
There's just a part where it's like, oh, this guy under him thought of a thing that Lion didn't think of. And it's like, he's fucking Lion L. Johnson. He would have fucking thought of that. He's kind of the peak of thinking lions. So, yeah, it's a little goofy and there's some stuff like that. But, yeah, no, Fallen Angels is very much like, this is a war we can't win. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? They're so badass. Yeah, the Dark Angels are really cool. Yeah, that's their group, the Dark Angels, like the first Legion found by, or the second Legion found by the Emperor. I think the only reason Horus was picked as the War Master is because he was the first guy found. Everyone says, like, if he wasn't the first one found, it would have been Lion.
Oh, okay. That makes way more sense why he's so favored. I didn't realize that the Luna Wolves were the first Legion, I guess, right?
Not the first one made, but...
Yeah, the first Primarch that they found. Yeah.
Well, because the Emperor had his own legions that he...
Yeah.
Like Dusk Raiders and stuff.
Yeah, and they were either turned into whoever the Gene Fathers were. Like, they were either turned into that, or it was just like, these guys are just space dudes. Space bros and space armor, space manning. Like, that's all it is.
Space
Shaka.
Space Shaka. So yeah, the order to read things, you could just start going in the order that they were written in, honestly.
I've already deviated, though, by going right to Mechanicum.
Yeah. You could continue in the order they were written in.
Okay, so
I would say Tales of Heresy is just really fucking cool. None of it is necessary from what I'm seeing, except for one of them.
So should we just skip to that short story and read it then?
It's hard to say because like the first one, Blood Games, is really fucking cool. Like it's all about the custodians.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll be doing. I'll be
really
doing
cool. Yeah.
I don't mind reading them all. I'm just curious. Like, is there one that is more important than the rest?
Wolf. Blood Games is really good. Wolf at the Door is
important.
Probably like my favorite ending to any of the stories.
Okay.
I think you're gonna love it. Scions of the Storm doesn't matter. It's the fucking nerds voice. The voice is cool. It's about the Silent Sisters. And it's got like space warp zombie stuff going on in it.
Mm-hmm.
Call of the Lion is the one that I'm on right now, and it doesn't seem terribly interesting unless the lion shows up and beats the fuck out of things. But you need to read Fallen Angels and Descent of Angels before
this
Call of the Lion.
Okay.
I think. So yeah, maybe we'll do. So what's the order for these?
So Descent, Fallen, Legion, Tales.
Kind of sounds like yeah. How am I going to do this?
Yeah, Descent, Fallen, Legion, Tales, and that'll catch you up. That'll be all 10 in the beginning 10, and then you can jump on. Fallen Angels is book 11.
It comes after Tales of Heresy.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, Battle of the Abyss is in there somewhere.
Yes.
That's
So how am I doing this? I'm doing Eisenstein, Fulgrim,
Mechanicum.
I would do Mechanicum and then Battle for the Abyss for sure.
So I should do that too then, right? So that we're talking on the
same. Mechanicum first and then go into Battle for the Abyss.
Yeah.
Like, not right after, but it needs to follow after Mechanicum.
Okay, so
I would say do Descent of Angels and Fallen Angels, and we'll go from there.
So, okay, what if I do... So I'm going to do Eisenstein, Fulgrim... Mechanicum...
Descent,
and then Fallen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, maybe finish Mechanicum, then do Battle for the Abyss. That one's exciting.
Is it...
Okay, maybe I'll do Battle.
Yeah. Is it necessary that one of the books follows one of the books? That's why you're saying that, right?
Yeah. So they all spin off into that fucking graph of nonsense that is just this absolute shit show of books in no particular order. I think we're doing them in good orders. But the thing is, they're not written in order anyways.
Yeah, it's just release order.
So then it's
I'll
not...
kind of read them and then be like, maybe read certain ones in certain
So
orders.
I'll do Battle of the Abyss after Mechanicum.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll follow in that.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the Angels.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, because the angel ones are slow, but not boring, like, at all. I
like what I've read so far.
I didn't tune any of it out.
But
I'm only in the epilogue.
But if Abyss ties more directly to Mechanicum, it makes sense to read them back to back, right?
Abyss, it doesn't have anything to do... Well, yeah. So the Abyss exists because of the events of the Mechanicum.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Okay, and so then it's not...
I don't know what Battle for the Abyss is going to lead into. Probably Mark of Calth.
There's no... reading them in order of release is not the best way to do it, obviously, then?
I mean, it can be.
I feel like if I knew what I knew, I wouldn't read them in the order of release. And I'll say, going in certain directions. I'm trying to remember the events of all of the books to make sure we're not forgetting anything. I feel like Mechanicum needs to follow Fulgrim, though.
Yes.
There's so much important stuff there. And then we might as well mix and match from that point on.
Well, once you
guys get to 1,000 Suns, then we'll continue from there and probably to Nemesis.
They do specifically towards the end of Fulgrim, mention, Mars, Mechanicum, that's what's next.
Yeah.
So it's okay, well...
Oh, so then Mechanicum is the next one in the main storyline after Fulgrim, then.
It's the natural progression, yeah. And the Battle for the Abyss is a spin-off, but still progressing forward. Because it's... I guess the events of Battle for the Abyss are happening during Esteban 3 and 5.
Okay.
So...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool stuff.
They just have no idea. And, the events of Thousand Suns is happening during Esteban 5. I'm surprised they're not aware of it happening, although there's so much happening in Esteban 5.
And it's not a super long battle either, though.
Okay, and then
Esteban 5, that's true.
And then I can't remember what you said. Where does Legion play into all this? Because it's a book that we've now skipped 4 times going through the list.
Legion is going to be...
Where should that come in? Because I don't have that book. Should I just go buy it
after
so I have
Descent
it?
and Fallen? If you see a book that's within like the next 20 or so, and you can purchase it, honestly.
Because you might not get a chance.
Fucking disappear. Yeah. I still can't find Age of Darkness.
Did you try
everywhere?
What about
Black Library?
Games
everything.
Workshop?
Games Workshop, yeah. I might just have to buy the audiobook for it, which I'm okay with. I don't mind having the audiobook. I'd like to have the whole collection eventually, but if I have to wait for that, then so be it. Yeah, the books that I cannot seem to find.
Yeah, they're like 3 random numbers, right?
Yeah. I have it all written down. It is book 16, Age of Darkness, book 18, Deliverance Lost, 22 and 23, Shadows of Treachery, and Angel Exterminatus. Other than that, I have the other 50. And then 51 is like Slaves to Darkness, but that's new stuff that's coming out. I don't think it's out yet. And there's going to be up to 54, and then it's going to start the Siege of Terra series, which seems like it's all going to
be a whole new thinger.
Yeah, and that that's not like starting next year. That's May.
Yeah,
but that's not like another 54 books. That's like 10 books in total.
Maybe 30.
Yeah, I'm thinking 30. I don't know how they can make it longer because, as far as I'm aware of, at that point Horus is at Terra. So, but that conflict does go on for a long fucking time.
So then it's obvious.
Doesn't end very good.
So then it seems to be pretty obvious that like he goes up against other Primarchs. Then like there's no way that
I'm not going to tell you who he kills, but he kills other Primarchs.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Well, so like it doesn't matter how strong Horus was. Horus is now imbued with chaos. Like he is the embodiment of chaos at this point. He is a motherfucker. Like the Chaos Gods could wipe out...
He's a tough butternut.
They could wipe out the Emperor if they could get to the Emperor. Horus is the only body that they can embody to fight the Emperor. And holy hell is it a fight.
Alright.
Yeah, sorry. I'll try and read as much of... I'll say this just for this. I'll try and read as much of Eisenstein as humanly possible in the next week.
Yeah. I mean, even if you can only get like a third or half of it done by...
I mean, like, are you guys cool doing like halfly marks? Like, I'll read the first half, we'll try and recap the first half.
I'll just get as far as you can.
And then the next Sunday, we'll try and recap it all. I swear to God, I'm trying to read them. Yeah. And now that I can read a fucking book again, now I'm more inclined to read it.
And it's hard because we're all living lives. Me less so than you guys, so I have more time to... I'll also, like...
Well, I didn't make much progress over last week because I had some time off, actually. I only make progress on the books whenever I'm commuting because it's all audiobooks.
You don't just listen to the book at all?
No. Unless I'm like... I did that a couple times with Eisenstein when I was just
you were hella invested.
Like, I got home and I'm like... Shit's happening!
Like, sitting in the car.
Like, listening for like an extra 5 minutes and then turn it off and get inside and then put it back on.
Yeah,
it's just like, no, I can't not.
I want to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I think, Descent of Angels and Fallen Angels won't necessarily be that for you. I think Battle for the Abyss is such a cool fucking story that I didn't want to stop. I read the whole thing in 3 days.
I mean, you said it's Fellowship of the Ring, so I mean,
that
instantly placed in my love for all things fantasy.
It's like this fucking Lord of the Rings bullshit. Like, none of these idiots fit together, but holy fuck, are they gonna fight a war? It's so cool.
That's cool.
Cool stuff.
I think that's it.
Yeah, we've covered Galaxy in Flames and our future plans of the series. So next weekend
Miles will hopefully have half of Eisenstein.
Some Eisenstein, which is still probably my favorite one that I've read so far. So
I'm looking very, I'm very invested in it so far. But that's only because I've come to really like Garrow, like really very quickly.
Yeah. They have done a good job of hyping him up over the last couple.
And he is hyped as fuck when he's in it, like he's in it to win it. Yeah, Garrow's book is all short stories.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that means we get to see more Garrow in different.
And thankfully, the only short stories compilation that got split up into 1,000 pieces for audiobook form is Tales of Heresy. So nice. Garrow's book is all in one. Everybody else is.
That's so weird. It must be because it was part of the early set of them, right? And then
they're like, oh,
just had a way of doing it.
Or maybe just through popularity.
Or this was never going to be a book.
Yeah, Tales of Heresy.
Who knows? Yeah.
Oh, got added in.
Because over the course, because this book wouldn't have happened for like. So there's 50 books. If we divide that up by, it's been being told for 13 years.
Yeah.
How many books a year? 6.
Sure.
I can't do math.
Cool. Well, I was wondering if it was still...
Nemesis so far seems incredibly uninteresting.
I know, because it's all part of the New York
after the horrors of Isfahan 5, Horus
4
declares
books here.
outright war against the Imperium and the shadows of the Emperor's palace. Powerful figures can be blah blah blah, subterfuge and hidden and blah blah stealth bullshit.
So does that have anything to do with the Alpha Legion then?
We don't know what side they're on. And I don't think they do either. I think they legitimately split up into 2 legions.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool stuff.
Okay.
Tune in next week for more Warhammer.
Yay!
Smooth butt?
Smooth butt!